Hello, welcome to Meals with Maria. This video might be a little corny, but we're gonna get into some corn recipes. This time of year, it is a seasonal vegetable, grain, whatever you wanna call it, but especially here in New England, it is abundant. It's at all the farm stands and the prices are pretty good. I think the lowest I saw right now was 4 for 2, so that's 50 cents each. Maybe not the cheapest thing I've ever seen. I've sometimes seen it down to like 10 cents, 5 cents, insane. So, check your local sales and shops and see what you can find. Overall, it's such a nice, fresh thing to have this time of year. So I wanted to give you some new recipes to kind of spice things up and make it fun. For this first recipe, I'm making Bang Bang corn, and this is actually out of that Delish magazine that I've been recreating Dollar Tree recipes with. You want to start off with 3 tablespoons of butter melted, and to that I'm adding 2 tablespoons of honey. And the original recipe actually calls for a half a cup of sweet chili sauce, but I did not have that, and I figured we're going with a sweet and spicy, so honey's going to work just fine here, and it did. Then you also want a tablespoon of sriracha, the juice of 2 limes, and I'm just using already squeezed lime juice, but whatever you have will work, and a couple of cloves of garlic, either grated or finely minced. And if you don't have that, you could always use a couple teaspoons of garlic powder. Now, I feel like this recipe is super versatile, so if you're not using sriracha or you don't have it, or you have a different favorite hot sauce, I feel like you could very easily switch that out. Salt and pepper to taste, mix it up, and we're going to use this as a glaze for our corn. Now, I've shucked our corn and I'm going to put it on my grill. This recipe should make enough glaze for up to 6 ears of corn. You want to heat your grill to medium high and then slather that butter all over your corn. I actually didn't slather mine on until I put it on the grill, but whatever way you want to do it. You want to turn your corn occasionally and baste it with more butter as you cook. And you want to cook it for about 10 to 15 minutes until the corn is pretty charred and well cooked. I went in probably 5 or 6 times with my brush and basted it quite a bit just to get all that flavor in there and kind of use all that buttery, spicy, sweet goodness. And oh my goodness, it was so absolutely delicious. When your corn is done and a little bit charred, go ahead and sprinkle it with some cilantro before serving, and you will love this. Because it's corn season, corn is plentiful around here. It's so easy to get, and I want to have that fresh, sweet corn. But you have the same thing every day, it gets kind of boring, right? So it's so nice to mix it up with these recipes and use things that I already had in my pantry. I didn't have to go out and buy anything special to make this, and it was so wonderful. This next recipe is for Parmesan roasted corn on the cob, and it is absolutely phenomenal, just like the other one. We're roasting this in the oven versus cooking it on the grill this time, but I forgot to mention the other one you could totally do in the oven as well, or you can do in the microwave, which we'll do later too. So there's going to be a lot of options for cooking your corn, trying to save energy, and using the appliances that you have. For this, you need 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1 teaspoon of dried thyme, a half a teaspoon of garlic powder, a half a teaspoon of ground pepper, and 1/3 of a cup of grated Parmesan cheese. And again, these were all ingredients that I had on hand in my kitchen already. I didn't have to go out and buy anything special, and I was able to use an in-season crop and really elevate it. This recipe makes 4 ears of corn. Now, I've already shucked my ears of corn, and I'm gonna cut like 4 squares of aluminum foil that are the right size to cover each ear of corn. You want to rub a generous tablespoon of mixture over each ear of corn and then wrap the foil around the corn and seal it well, because you're going to actually kind of steam that corn by baking it. We're going to bake it in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes at 425 degrees. When your corn comes out, it is steamy and delicious and cooked so perfectly. I love that the Parmesan cheese actually kind of melts right to the corn so that all the flavor gets to stay on your corn and you're not missing anything. For this next recipe, we're making Mexican street corn, but we're going to use a TikTok hack to cook it. I'll be getting into the details of this as soon as we make our sauce. I'm going to mix a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise with a 1/4 cup of sour cream, or you can use a Mexican crema. We're going to use a 1/4 cup of fresh chopped cilantro, or you could probably use a couple teaspoons of dried. And I am going to leave a little bit off to the side because I want to be able to sprinkle it over at the end and really give it a pop of color. You'll also want a 1/2 cup of cojita cheese crumbled. No one has told me I'm saying it wrong yet, so I think I'm doing okay. And then a couple of cloves of garlic, crushed or finely minced, or in my case, I'm just going to grate it right in. And then you want the zest and the juice of 1 lime. So I am zesting my lime in there, and then I'm going to juice it. But if you don't have like a whole fresh lime like that, you just have lime juice, I think about 3 tablespoons of lime juice should be just fine. Season with about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and mix up. This is your wonderful sauce for your Mexican street corn. And I actually had made some like burritos that night, and I kind of used it as a sour cream. So if you end up with extra, it is not a bad thing to use like a burrito or a burrito bowl. It is so flavorful and so delicious. I'm kind of addicted. Okay, on to this TikTok hack for cooking corn. I had to try it. I saw it on there. I was like, this can't be real. It's real. And don't mind my smudgy microwave. It's real life, right? So it said to microwave the corn for 4 minutes, and I put them all together, and I think it meant that you should do each ear for 4 minutes. So my recommendation is 6 minutes an ear. And if you're cooking them all together, then separate them out. But you see how I cut the end off there? And then you should just squeeze it out, and voila, look at that. The corn just squeezes right out of that husk without really any of the silk or anything on there. It was so simple and so easy, and it took way less time than cooking it on the stove or on the grill or in the oven. So this is a nice little quick hack if you're like, I gotta cook some corn up, especially if it's just for like one. I do think that it took a little bit longer because I was trying to like get the corns the right temperature and like not undercooked, because cooking all 4 of them in there for 4 minutes all close together like that did not cook everything fully. So each ear for 6 minutes, but if you're just cooking for 1 or 2, it's absolutely perfect. And you can see the second one, no problem. We did it. Awesome. Loved it. So you just want to generously smother those in that sauce. My kids didn't want the sauce on there, so I made theirs separate. And then sprinkle cilantro over the top and a little bit of chili powder. And that is so beautiful. You can put a little of that extra cojita cheese on. And this is such a special thing, especially for like Taco Tuesday, or like I said, we did burritos. So you're trying something Mexican. This is absolutely perfect. This is definitely a little bit more of like an expensive one. Might need to go buy a few ingredients, but it is worth it, especially for a special occasion. I want to thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you so much. Make sure to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. If you're looking for some more summertime favorites recipes, go ahead and click on the video at the bottom here. I know you will not be disappointed. And I'll see you all very soon.